Hey y'all, I bet y'all thought I never was gonna record a video. It took me so long to get on here. But I'm coming on here to talk about my pregnancy with Zaire and my pregnancy with Zenaria and the difference. So when I first got pregnant with Zaire, it was in January of 2024. And I had no idea I was pregnant. I had a feeling, but I really wasn't sure because like they always say, pregnancy and period symptoms are very similar and can tend to run together and be the same. Well, with Zaire, I was having a bunch of nausea and I was having severe headaches. And knowing me, I was just like, oh, never mind, it's just my cycle coming on, blah, blah, blah. And something had told me to take a pregnancy test. So I took one. Give me that, that's glass. I took one on, I think it was a Friday, February, January 26th, and found out that I was pregnant. To make a long story short, my pregnancy with him was great. All I had to deal with really was nausea and constantly being hungry. And fast forward, I had gestational diabetes with him. Since it was my first pregnancy, I was very emotional about it and thought it was something I did wrong. But of course it wasn't. The further I got along, the more I learned about it. You know, it's something that I couldn't control, and neither can anybody else, obviously. I was diet controlled, thankfully didn't need insulin or anything like that. I didn't have a birth plan from the beginning when I found out, and the further I got along, there was no birth plan either. I knew for sure that I did not want the epidural, so I didn't get it. I was scheduled for an induction at 39 weeks. Went into the hospital when I was 39 weeks. I was 39 weeks and 2 days. Went to the hospital because it said I was supposed to be at like 5 a.m. Went all the way there, got sent home because they stated that they didn't have a room ready for us nor a nurse. So we went all the way home. Went all the way there and then went back home because we got sent home. Later that afternoon, because all I did after we got back from the hospital was sleep. So later that afternoon around 2:30 p.m., my water literally broke. Me reassuring myself, like I had just got up from a nap, and me reassuring myself that I was like, no, my water didn't break. I went to the bathroom and I just didn't pee all the way. Well, Jordan, my husband, for y'all that don't know, he was like, no, your water broke, your water broke. So he went and got me a pad and was like, put this on, and if it fills up, your water's broke. If it doesn't, you good. So of course it filled up, water broke. I was transported to the hospital by EMS. Got there and got a room and got hooked up to the IVs, all that stuff. Was contracting the entire time, the whole time I was there. They had finally slowed down about midnight, and then come to find out my water had sealed back up, and they ended up having to break it. So I ended up having him like an hour and 45 minutes later, literally an hour and 45 minutes later, he was born. So I ended up having him at 39 weeks and 3 days. So proud of myself because I was getting told by a lot of people, I don't think you're gonna make it full term. Some people was assuming I wasn't gonna make it full term because I do have cerebral palsy. I do walk, but my wheelchair is my primary go-to, only because I've gotten so used to it that I slack on my walking. I know that I shouldn't, but I do. I'm working on getting better at it though. And if I'm talking too fast, excuse me, I'm kind of nervous. This is my first video, of course. Obviously, y'all know that. And excuse the music in the background. I didn't want to talk without any music playing. Hopefully, I don't get copyrighted. But my pregnancy with Zenaria was very different. I knew I was pregnant with her because, like, when I'm about to come on my cycle, I can feel my body, like, building up the days to start. I didn't have any of that. And I was very sick. I kept having nausea, like, so bad, so severe, more than I was having it with Zaire. So I was like, I gotta be pregnant. And fast forward to the end of August 2025, I found out, August 29th to be exact, and I found out with her at 4.5 weeks, no, 4 weeks exactly. With him, I was 5.5, so almost 6 weeks with him. My pregnancy with her was very different. I wouldn't complain about it. It got complicated around end of February, early March, and I had a hospital stay with her because I went to an MFM appointment and they didn't tell me what they saw. They just automatically was like, you need to go to the labor and delivery. So I went there, and from there they was like, they assumed that my water had broke because they thought I ruptured my membrane, but And come to find out, after a whole week of staying, nothing showed up that was concerning anymore. So they let me go home. They discharged me. I did have gestational diabetes with her, but on the plus side with her, my number for gestational diabetes was a lot lower than it was with Zaire. Thankfully, I am not a diabetic afterwards, because I did hear that 9 times out of 10 when you get pregnant with your first child and the second one, you do have gestational diabetes, and a lot of women don't have diabetes after that, but some people do, and thankfully I don't. I was worried about that because it does run in my family. But besides that, my pregnancies from each other, like I said, were very different. And then she was head down my entire pregnancy, and then ended up being breached the last 6 weeks. So we ended up, can you say hi? We ended up being scheduled for an ECB procedure Friday, April 17th. I was scheduled to go home, but then they said either way it goes, he's supposed to show y'all the stuff. I don't know why, but here y'all go. Yes, stop, mommy's recording. But they ended up keeping me, and from there, they scheduled to turn her, and it was terrible. It was a terrible experience. I had to tell them to stop, and I just told them to schedule a C-section. With that, I wasn't getting the epidural either, because I actually had a surgery on my spine when I was 8. I had tether cord surgery. So I couldn't get the epidural even if I wanted it. They did opt to do an MRI just to see if I can get the epidural. I said no, just put me to sleep because that's an option. I'd rather go the safer route and not put anything in my spine. Go over there. Well, get down. Mommy's recording. I did that to go the safer route, so I did not get to see her the moment she came out. Her dad and her brother Zaire, of course, he did. So, can you move it out the way? I was surprised by how amazing my C-section scar healed, because I was hearing a lot of, oh, you're gonna have scar tissue, you're at risk for infections, and this, that, and the third, because I use a wheelchair, all of that stuff. But sorry if this video is all over the place. Again, I'm a little nervous, and as y'all can see, I gotta get set up. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. I love both of my babies, and I'm very grateful for my experiences. No. Stay tuned for more. See y'all on the next one. Bye.